Can we get a round of applause for Kyrie Irving, please? Kyrie, well, damn. I mean, I got to talk to the bosses like, Kyrie, I hear you. Let's look at this, boys and girls of the NBA community. Kyrie Irving has now signed a 3-year deal worth $126 million to play basketball, a 5-year shoe endorsement that we are about to get into. He negotiated under his own management, and he secured his position in a company that's going to allow him to control the creative department. Boy, if Kyrie Earth is flat, I would not mind staying on it for a couple of days at all. Let me tell you. So it looks like Kyrie Irving is back at it and on his way, hopefully, to something promising. According to reports, Kyrie Irving has officially signed a 5-year deal with the Anta company. Now, with this shoe deal, Kyrie Irving got some bonuses. He got some perks, y'all. Kyrie's going to be able to become the chief creative officer for Anta basketball, giving him the ability to recruit players and collaborators. So again, I want to shout out Kyrie Irving for getting not only another deal, but actually having some type of power alongside of it, at least something different than he had before with Nike. But I got to talk to the bosses, y'all. Y'all already know how we do here. Because I got some questions about this situation with Kyrie Irving. Now, number one, actually three. But number one, we talk about recruiting superstars. That's one of the capabilities that Kyrie Irving is going to be able to have with this new company. Will Kyrie Irving be able to recruit other superstars into the NBA? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I don't know if he still is, but Klay Thompson had his shoe deal through Anta a while back. I'm not sure if he's still under this company or not, but I do remember Klay being a part of Anta. But now Kyrie is really the big shot over there. But when I look at Kyrie, I think he gets a lot of respect from his teammates and his peers and, in the NBA. But I don't know if I look at Kyrie as somebody that people are going to follow. Like, not to say that he just seems to be radioactive a little bit. Like it seemed like people are loving him from a distance. Now, he's kept his nose clean. He went to Dallas. He hasn't been really a distraction or any type of disruption. Mark Cuban just went on record saying that he feel like Kyrie Irving is pretty much misunderstood. But Kyrie's thinking is so unorthodox and so outside the box. I don't know if he is going to be able to get other superstars or young stars of the NBA to come and do a deal with Anta. Especially if it's going to be a deal that is not as great as his. And chances it's not going to be. I mean, you can only have so many positions of power. But when we talk about recruiting, I don't know if Kyrie is the right fit to be able to lead the way into building this brand from the superstar perspective. Like I said, I think people got tons of respect for Kyrie. I think the players got tons of respect for Kyrie. But who can you really say, yeah, I got him following Kyrie's footsteps, or I got him following the lead of Kyrie Irving? Kyrie Irving's decision making for like the last few years have been in question so much. It just seems again like he's radioactive, and I think people are going to love him from afar. especially when it comes down to certain things. Like, I don't think he's like a bad businessman or nothing like that. So don't get it twisted. But I don't know about this whole recruiting other players to this brand. I don't know how much of a good deal it is. Like I said, I know Klay Thompson was a part of Anta. I'm not sure if he still is or not. Then I'm looking at who's the bigger winner in this new situation with Anta and Kyrie. Like, who is actually making out better with this new deal? I got to take a look at the shoe. Number one, I do want to see what the actual product looks like as far as what Kyrie is going to have. But if you have to ask me right now, today, who's the bigger winner, it would have to be Kyrie on the short end of the stick, or short term wise, because he got a position of power, he got the money. I don't know exactly how much for, but he got a little bit of security. Unless he screws this up, he's locked in for 5 years. So on face value right now, I think Kyrie Irving is probably the bigger winner in this equation. But long term, Anta, the only thing I think they really could lose is money. And that's a big deal. But it's a win-win situation if you're looking at trying to build a platform of popularity, at least for now. Because I think one way or another, Kyrie Irving is going to remain in headlines, whether it's something good or something bad. Now, if it does get to be something bad, will Anta pull out like other companies have pulled out on Kyrie before, stuff like that? That's just a whole nother conversation. But if he's able to get other people to come and, get their own shoe, of course, that increases them long term as far as the Anta brand. So right now, I think it's a good fit for both. I think it's a very good fit for both. You got a team in, Team Kyrie that's really focused on building something special with his brand individually. And, he linked up now and got this opportunity, to get another shoe deal. And he got some position behind it. I don't know how much of an impact, though, this is really going to be when we keep it real. Like, I always be wondering, like, if the people in the streets ain't really buying these shoes, how much does that affect the actual athlete? How many people are going to be wearing Anta tennis shoes just because it's by Kyrie? A lot of our sneakerheads, we are kind of stuck in our ways. Even if it look good, we might buy it. But, I don't know if this is they're going to have to do a way better job of marketing and promoting in order to get, I think, consumers to really buy into it. Kyrie definitely have his fan base, and Kyrie is going to bring money in. There's no doubt about that. But is Kyrie Irving a game changer when we talk about shoes and, fashion? And his ideas are so unorthodox and outside the box. How is that going to affect the creativeness of this company? Like, it's a lot of things that you got to wonder long term. But, I think Kyrie Irving is going to be 10 toes down when it comes to him doing everything that he can do to build this brand to be bigger than what it was. I just don't know how he's going to do it. I really don't. I don't think that he is marketable enough. He's not out in front of the camera like that. Like, Kyrie is low key. Kyrie has always, for the most part, been chill. So it's a good thing that you got this position. But who's going to be if you're going to be the face of it, you're going to have to do way more than how you normally been. I'm thinking, like, being under Nike, you don't have to do but so much. Nike sells itself. Kyrie is going to have to do a little bit more than usual. And I think one of the reasons Anta gave him so much power when it comes to the creative side of things is because they don't really have any idea about what the people want. So to me, this is a little bit of pressure on Kyrie Irving to find the right team, the right fit of people to work with in order to get the ball rolling. Like I said, Kyrie is well respected, I believe, amongst the players and just other people in the NBA community. But how many left hand takes have Kyrie Irving had? How many outside the box takes and opinions and things have Kyrie Irving had over the years? You really think a lot of superstars is going to want to follow Kyrie with a company that's not really known or established like that? Like I said, Klay Thompson was with them before, but it's this iffy. Justin say Kyrie is like Kawhi when it comes down to standing out with their mindset. But even with even with Kawhi, New Balance as a company, they sell themselves. They might not be the top brand, but everybody knows about New Balance. Who really knew anything about Anta? Like, I didn't know anything about Anta until recently. Here's Klay Thompson, his shoe with Anta. But what type of spokesperson was Klay? Like Klay Thompson, real laid back and reserved, so to speak. And he been had his own shoe, and he wasn't really able to push the needle. I don't think he had the position of power that they've given Kyrie, but I see similarities in Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving as far as how reserved they are. Kyrie, man, I like it now because he got a new deal and he got some control. But if this thing blows up, then what? I don't know, man, but I would like to find out how much money he got from this 5-year deal. Was it more about the power or was it about the dollars? I do wonder that. So the bigger winner for me would be Kyrie Irving right now, even though I don't feel like Anta as a brand is a loser because their popularity right now is going to go up. But whatever design, whatever idea that this company has for themselves, putting Kyrie in the creative power of, position of power, they are taking a huge risk. They're taking a huge risk. They really are. You're talking about a guy who thinks the earth is flat. You're talking about a guy who moves to the beat of his own drum. I don't know, man. I really don't know. You talk about how did Kyrie Irving do as far as recruiting players on his team in the game? He didn't recruit LeBron James. He really wasn't even happy when LeBron came back to Cleveland, right? When he went to Boston, those guys were already there. They were young, but they were already there. So he didn't get a real opportunity to recruit anybody to to Boston. He linked up with Kevin Durant and went to Brooklyn. I think he was the deciding factor on where they actually played. But, he didn't recruit James Harden. So I don't know, man. I really got to talk to the bosses, bro. Anta may need to be drug tested, giving Kyrie all this power.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
But it's big money. It's big money. It's a big opportunity. But man, I don't know. My third question about this situation with Kyrie getting his shoe deal is, does Kyrie Irving deserve it? Does Kyrie Irving deserve this new shoe deal? And does he deserve the power? I never had a problem with what Kyrie Irving did last year when we talk about sharing the documentary link and all that other stuff. He got suspended without pay, I believe. He even did certain steps to come back to the team. He gets traded. But like I said, even though the Dallas Mavericks didn't do that great of a job at the end of the year, Kyrie wasn't a off-court distraction or a problem for the organization. So if you look at it from that aspect, he absolutely deserves this opportunity. Nike should have never cut ties with him in the first place. And what was so bogus is that the perception was they got rid of Kyrie and then they turned right around, signed Ja Morant, give Ja Morant a new deal. And look what Ja Morant has been doing ever since that happened. You haven't had those problems like that from Kyrie Irving that you get from Ja Morant. So it is interesting that Nike dropped the ball with that last year. But I wonder why Kyrie, again, the dollar amount to me is going to be interesting when we talk about this new deal with Kyrie and Anta, because the whole aspect of recruiting a superstar and him having creative authority of this basketball, of the basketball side of things, like Kyrie is one of the last people I think I would want ahead of my creative department. Like, no disrespect, like he just too reserved. And even on the basketball court, no, we don't consider Kyrie as being like a dumb basketball player. He's very intelligent, but I'm just like, man, to be the head of something of a creative department, bro, I just feel like, yo, you got to have a resume for something. And in basketball, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any creativeness. Like, he's dominating real quick, one of the best ball handlers in the NBA history. But Anta is going out on a limb, I think, giving Kyrie Irving this much power and authority. But I'm not knocking it. Don't get it twisted. I'm not knocking it. I'm definitely happy for Kyrie. Like I say, he been killing it. You can say what you want about Kyrie Irving, but these last month or two, Kyrie Irving has been killing it, bro. He signed that 3-year deal with Dallas that was over $126 million. He signed his 5-year shoe endorsement. He got a position of power in this company. He's able to, have control over the creative department. He negotiated things under his own management. Like, it was a lot going on for Kyrie Irving in this offseason. And it looked like he is definitely trying to pick up some of the pieces for, what happened last year and trying to get back to where he needs to be. So I'm happy for him. I think it's all good. I do want to see what people think about the basketball side of things, because Mark Cuban had just recently talked about Kyrie Irving being misunderstood. I wonder what the real expectations are when we talk about Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks next season. What type of expectations do y'all honestly have for Kyrie and the Mavs next season? Kyrie and Luka together, they went 5-11 last year. Luka averaged with Kyrie. Luka averaged just under 31 points a game, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and he averaged about 3 threes per game, shooting at an 80% clip from the free throw line. Kyrie Irving averaged about 27 points a game with Luka, 5, 6, and he shot about 93% from the free throw line. So I really feel like the only problem that these two guys have is their identity, figuring out who's going to be the closer, who's going to be the guy that you can really go to down the stretch. They lost quite a few games last year because, Kyrie was trying to defer to Luka and Luka was trying to defer to Kyrie. Like, it cost them big time last year. So I want to know what some platforms got to say about their expectations of Kyrie and Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks. Let's get into this video. Shout out to 105.3 The Fan on YouTube. Make sure y'all subscribe to them. But I do want to see now. Let me pull up this video. Give me a second, y'all. This is the best of 7 Sports Talk. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Let me know what y'all think about Kyrie getting this new shoe deal. Definitely interested in your thoughts. If this is a good move, should he have waited it out for a more popular brand? Do you think a more popular brand would have came around and actually re-signed Kyrie to a deal? What's your thoughts about the shoe set?
For the winners, they got the Lakers, the Suns, and the Mavs re-signing Kyrie Irving and trading for Grant Williams. And I hadn't thought of it as far as retaining Kyrie Irving, but maybe we should give him more credit for that. And, they got one of the best players in the game to re-sign here without much.
Because they were like, hey, there's a lack of market here. Not many other teams are getting involved. Did you have to go as far as you did? But I think us here know what it was going to take to keep Kyrie. He's still one of the top flight players. He's not going to take a huge discount, but you did get him at than what he could have gotten.
Like 80%
market. Yeah. So,
and that surprised me. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think that Kyrie in Dallas was going to have any type of relationship after last year. Win or lose, I just didn't think that this whole thing made sense. Because I remember when Kyrie had went through his problems with the anti-Jewish Semitic situation, the documentary Link and all that. I remember seeing Mark Cuban go on different platforms and have interviews, and he talked about Kanye West, and Mark Cuban also talked about Kyrie Irving, not so much in a supportive way. So in the second half of the season, when Mark Cuban decided to trade or for Kyrie, it was kind of crazy to me because I'm like, bro, you had no love for Kyrie just a month ago, but because Luka Doncic needs the help, you're willing to sign this man's check at this point. And then they wind up not even making the play-in. And everybody was talking about Kyrie rejoining LeBron. That was a conversation last year. So I thought it was pretty much close to being over for this Kyrie-Luka relationship in Dallas. To me, Luka doesn't seem to be the type that plays well with other stars. He went to the Western Conference Finals with Jalen Brunson. I understand that, but that was Jalen's coming out party. Talk to me about what Luka did with Kristaps Porzingis. Talk about what he did last year with Kyrie. Head coach Rick Carlisle, didn't he quit because of Luka? And this guy won an NBA championship as a head coach in Dallas. So, I still got questions about, Luka as a leader, as the actual face. Not disputing that he's not. But, I think Luka still got some growing up to do. But I was really surprised that the Dallas Mavericks were able to re-sign Kyrie for 3 years.
I consider that to be a win. And when they made the trade for him, I think in their mind, they were hell-bent on making sure Kyrie was more than just a quarter season rental. And so they accomplished their mission of getting him back. And I'm certainly more excited going into the season with him on the team.
Yeah,
that's for sure. And I think the move for Grant Williams was big time. I didn't know that they were going to be able to pull that one off. I think Nico and company have done, since draft night, they've made some nice moves. The problem is the expectation coming into the offseason for a lot of folks is in an offseason, let's get back to a team that's at the Western Conference Finals. And that's just not very realistic.
I don't know. I mean, it just depends to me how you look at it. The Dallas Mavericks, are we judging their offseason a success or failure? They re-signed Kyrie. They signed Seth Curry. So they got some shooting. They got some experience. They picked up Seth. They did a sign and trade for Grant Williams of the Boston Celtics. We are literally seeing Grant coming into his own as being a prime player in the NBA. I think he's coming off of his best seasons in Boston. And I think they just recently agreed to do a deal with Matisse Thybulle. They waiting to see if Portland actually matches that deal. But, if I got to give the Dallas Mavericks a report card grade right now, I would give them a B. I think Mark Cuban and those guys have done an above average job of taking what they had last year, making sure the key pieces are still in play, and surrounding them with some people that still got a hunger to win and know how to play their position and their role. So I don't think that is crazy to have high expectations for the Dallas Mavericks and Kyrie Irving uh, next season. To be honest, I think that's pretty dope that the Mavericks, even though they came up short in the play-in, because like I say, they lost a few games in the fourth quarters last year because they kept deferring to each other. You win those games last year, you would have been in the play-in. So Dallas, the Mavericks is a team, they shot themselves in the foot, but they didn't go in panic mode in the offseason. And I don't really know where we can rank them in the Western Conference, like because there's so many different adjustments and stuff, but you got to favor to Dallas to at least be in the playoff run.
With some of the constraints that they were under. And so I think for what what parameters they were working in, I think they've done a nice job. And hopefully these draft picks end up hitting. Yeah. And hopefully there's more moves to be made, not only in this offseason when it comes to a big, but then at the trade deadline, But I think for what they could do, I think they've accomplished pretty much all of it.
Brian, what do you say?
Yeah, to me, I don't want them to waste the talents of Kyrie and Luka.
No question.
I'm excited about, especially going out and watching the Mavs, with Kyrie, watching him play live, watching him and how, his teammates interact with him. He was everything he needed to be to get his career going back on the right path where people weren't.
Exactly. And that's why I said I feel like Kyrie deserves the shoe deal and the bonuses and stuff that he got, you know what I'm saying? Even though I don't believe that he's the right fit. Let's be clear on that. Kyrie Irving, to me, is not the right fit, the right personality to be the chief creative officer of a damn basketball league or basketball shoe. I think somebody definitely need to be drug tested over there at Anta.
You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
But this guy has definitely stayed out of trouble since he lost his deal with Nike, since he got suspended. Like, he hasn't moonwalked or done anything weird, but, he's just kept his nose clean. And Nike was quick to put Ja Morant at the front of the line. And look how disappointing Ja has been from, a public relations standpoint. Kyrie kept his nose clean, kept quiet. He even got traded. Didn't make a fuss about getting traded. They came up short at the end of the season. He didn't get all frustrated. He didn't blast the team or nothing. Like, he kept his head down. And now he has an opportunity of a lifetime. So I'm happy for Kyrie that he was able to get so much power as well as getting a new deal. But to me, in all reality, bro, I'll say it again. Kyrie is the wrong damn fit for this actual offer, bro, because he's not going to be able to get no superstars to come over there and get this shoe deal with him. Nobody's going to follow Kyrie. Everybody respect Kyrie. I think they love Kyrie, but from afar, from a distance. Who the hell is going to follow the tutelage and the leadership of Kyrie Irving? I got to talk to the bosses. Respectfully, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might get some young players that come over there and do that. But any star or superstar, they're going to try and negotiate a deal even bigger than what Kyrie actually has. And that's not what Kyrie, I don't think, his focus is on. So we'll see how that play out. But, he did get that done. And I do think that he deserves it because, he's kept his nose clean. Why not? Like I said, I just don't know how much of an impact. Kyrie Irving ain't the type of guy to me that's going to be able to have us out in the streets wearing Anta. I just don't see it, bro. I don't know, man. Maybe somebody buy me some Antas for Christmas, some Kyries for Christmas. I don't know.
Weren't talking about off the court. They were talking about, hey, this is what he can do on a nightly basis with the Mavs. I just worry that it's two guys that are going to have to bust their ass every single night just to carry this team because they're not going to have enough.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm excited about what Seth Curry and Hardy can do together. You know, for the first time, we have like 4 good playmaker ball handler guys.
Right.
This team has messed around with like only 2 of those and dabbled with 3 for a minute when they had Brunson and Dinwiddie together. You do have more firepower than just those 2 guys. I think their issue is defense. And
that's what I worry about.
It's a huge issue.
Do you have enough? I mean,
no, you don't have enough.
Are these guys going?
But that's the problem, really. I think that's the problem in the Western Conference, period, is defense. Damn near every team has a defensive issue, whether it's skill or size. Let's be real. 2019, we thought the Clippers was going to be by far the most dominant defensive team in the NBA. You had basically 2 of the best perimeter defenders in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard joining forces, and you had Patrick Beverly. And that was just at the top. I think they had Morris, then they had Serge Ibaka and Morris. Like, you'd have thought that they were going to be solidified for a minute. And, you know, due to injuries and availability and stuff like that, that hasn't been the case. So even though Dallas has been weak defensively, they always been weak defensively. Kyrie ain't no lockdown defender, and Luka damn sure ain't no lockdown defender. So, you know, they could get better on defense with size. They got rid of Christian Woods. It looked like he might be going to my Lakers, but I just think they need to pick up some size. I don't think it's a big deal that they have to go out here and try to spend big money on a defensive presence. Everybody just do your job, get some size. I think they should be cool.
But you have to exert just massive amounts of energy every night having to play defense, you know, and you should play defense. I mean, if you're a complete NBA player, you know, you should be able to have to play both.
No, but the guys that are expected to be good defenders are going to have to be they're going to have to be selling out in a huge way defensively because there only is going to be, for the most part, 2 guys that are above average defenders on the floor at one time. So that's tough.
But you want to be that team that's like, hey, we won 50 games. We can't defend our shadows. We're not a threat in the playoffs, but damn it, we're here. Right. You know, you don't want to be the team that defends so bad that you don't even make them.
That would never be the case when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. I know these guys know their team better than I do, but who gonna be looking at Kyrie and Luka if they have to face them in a 7-game series? Like, don't nobody want to have to go against them guys, at least individually. Luka is a problem in the playoffs. Kyrie is a problem. Like, we got to keep it real when it comes to that.
The playoffs, that would be a tragedy for the quality of players that they have on this team. And you have to consider that a realistic possibility. So if I'm those players, if I'm that organization, I'm looking at what's left of this summer is it's massively important that we get on the same page and get off to a good start. And hopefully
I think offensively they'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just think that there's going to be
Could
so
be
many
record setting.
There's going to be so many nights that they're probably going to come up short because like the things that happened to them in previous games, especially towards the end where they play in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game and they can't get a stop.
But I love how they've ripped the Band-Aid off this model that they had that was capable of making the conference finals, but wasn't a good pick to do it again. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith and Bullock, 2 of your best perimeter players that you needed for 40 minutes a night from each of them in your playoff run. Both of them are gone now.
Yeah.
And it might be a little step back, a significant step back to lose quality defenders like that, but they knew, you know, building our future around 2, 3, and D guys with no skill set beyond that is going to seriously hamper our upside.
Well, it just starts, first of all, it starts with the identity. As long as Luka and Kyrie can establish who's going to be the closer, Dallas is going to be fine. They just got to be healthy, get some size. Dallas will be in the playoffs next year. I don't see them getting no Larry O'Brien trophy. I keep telling y'all, Luka has to be Superman to win an NBA title. He ain't gonna win no NBA title with another star. And the way the NBA is built now, it's built around dynamic duos, super teams, big threes, stuff like that. But Luka is not that. Luka just doesn't mesh well with other stars when we talk about an 82 game stretch. Luka gonna need a ton of role players before he wins a NBA title. So I definitely don't see him going that far. But Dallas, to me, for sure, will be going further than they went last year. They just got that once, those two simple things, I think, again, to establish identity of who's the closer and try to get a little bit of rim protection. And if you can't get no rim protector, at least get some size downloaded, some people that you can, gather some fouls with and stuff like that. Somebody that you could just bang with in the post that's just going to keep those big guys on the opposite team busy.
So they've blown up the dam and are now rebuilding, and I think it should give them a much better chance of having a quality supporting cast. You look what Jokic had around him. You look at the Boston supporting cast. You look at Miami supporting cast. A ton of guys that can create their own shot. Not two of them. And now the Mavs have, I think, taken a big step back in that direction, and now having 4. Here's Mark Cuban on Sirius XM. What do you think about his assessment of Kyrie Irving and everything that's transpired and looking to the future now? Couple of cuts here.
No. Kyrie just loves basketball and loves going to games. So no, I wasn't concerned about that. But we traded for him because we wanted to be a long-term piece. And I think Kyrie's just misunderstood. Everybody sees all the noise and everything around him, but when you actually talk to him, I like him. He's open, he's smart. He's always looking to learn things, and to me, he's an interesting guy that's just misunderstood.
Yeah, so the question was, did it concern you that he was at the Lakers game? And at the time, I think you had to be thinking, well, maybe it's possible that the Lakers could figure out a way to get this done, but ultimately the organization didn't want anything to do with it. I would agree. Now,
I did remember something about Kyrie doing that. And, it's different strokes for different folks. Maybe Kyrie hasn't learned his lesson yet. Or maybe this is all strategic. Maybe it's innocent. But depending on who you are, you can't do the same thing that somebody else does and think that the perception is going to be the same. The most innocent thing Kyrie doing is going to watch a basketball game. If it was anybody else, it would be nothing. But because it was LA, because of the contract situation, because of, don't nobody really honestly know how long he's going to be in Dallas, what reason he's in Dallas. Like, that causes a lot of storylines and controversy and stuff like that. And look what Mark Cuban, he tried to downplay it, but I'm pretty sure Mark Cuban didn't like that. And if he had his choice, if he had a better option, I believe Mark Cuban would get rid of Kyrie. I am not sold on this Mark Cuban supporting Kyrie thing. Not at all. Listening to that interview, he gives me the impression like he just learned, like he just spoke to Kyrie for the first time ever. I like the guy. Like, he make it seem like he just met Kyrie. So I think it's off cap, to be honest, when we talk about what the hell Mark Cuban is talking about. Kyrie Irving was brought to Dallas simply to be that supporting cast for Luka. That's it, and that's all.
I think Kyrie is misunderstood. At times he's taking a public position on controversial subjects that sort of invite the controversy. And certainly that part of, the Kyrie reaction wasn't a misunderstanding. But a lot of times he's just talking and giving his honest thoughts and opinions on stuff. And there's maybe an abrasiveness to his honesty for some people. And there's a matter of factness about the way that he talks about things that I think rub people the wrong way, because of how honest and forthcoming he is with his conversation. But I think a lot of that is just a misunderstanding. And you can see, in how his relationships are with several people in the league, that he's obviously a pretty dang respectable guy.
Yeah, I think in an era gone by,
they love Kyrie. I think the players love Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? I know I rock with Kyrie, but when you go back to what he was offered with this deal with Anta, I mean, you're asking Kyrie to be the head of your creative department. How creative has Kyrie Irving, who's a very intelligent player, but how creative, how outside the box in a good way has Kyrie Irving been in his career, at least from the basketball side of things. In recruiting, Kyrie Irving recruiting stars to get shoe deals with this Chinese basketball shoe brand? Kyrie Irving, really?
I am back. What it do, baby?
I really got to talk to the bosses, bro. I don't believe it, not one bit.
He might have been more accepted.
Yeah.
But in an era as we play in today, with the way that people are very mindful of your approach to this or your approach to that or what you think, I mean, we look at these athletes, actors, whoever, as they say things, and it's like, we talked about yesterday, the cancel culture or some things like that maybe in a time gone by, being honest was the right thing.
People could respect the differences.
People could understand the differences, whereas today it's a little bit tougher. Like,
you can't say that.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah.
You can't think that. You can't say that. And that's just the times we live in now. But back then, athletes can kind of say things and get away with it, and it not be there's. We see now where people, there's so much crossover now into sports when athletes say something outside parties or, wait a minute, you can't say that. You can't do that. I think that's where Kyrie gets in a lot of trouble, is that, these groups outside of sports look at it and say, no, you're absolutely wrong about that.
Kyrie's reputation took such a massive hit. He was like, people thought of him as the most unlikable guy in all of sport, around just 6-7 months ago. Here's cut 2 from Mark Cuban talking more about.
But that's the media's fault. That's your fault. That's the narrative and the storyline that y'all portray. Like, I'm looking at right now, Craig Carlton from the Carlton Show. He don't think Kyrie Irving was misunderstood at all. According to him, he says Kyrie's a top 4 guard of all time, but he also happens to be a terrible knucklehead, a distraction, and a team killer.
The complex nature of his public persona.
It's interesting when I would watch Kyrie before he came to the Mavs. I didn't pay enough attention to his relationship with other players. And then when he came to us after the trade, it was inevitable. After every game, there were multiple players, like a real honest to goodness, I like you hug.
It ain't no,
when you talk
Mark Cuban, he's so smart, but he seems so out of touch sometimes. Bro, this ain't no about I like you. This is this is a brotherhood. They see how y'all violated Kyrie Irving last year and how things went in Brooklyn and how extra everything was for Kyrie, like he actually broke the damn law. His teammates, his peers resonate with him with those types of emotions and stuff like that. So I don't know what Mark Cuban is capping for. Mark Cuban just need to be honest and real with himself as well as the public. He ain't have no love for Kyrie. I'm telling y'all, with my own 2 eyes, last season, I witnessed Mark Cuban go on a hip hop publication show and did an interview. I think it's called, I forgot what it is in Texas. I know they used to interview Charleston White a whole lot. I forgot what their name is, but anyway, Mark Cuban did this interview. He talked about Kanye West and he talked about Kyrie Irving. He didn't have favorable words at all for Kyrie, but now he's willing to sign Kyrie's paycheck because it helps the agenda of Luka. But he's not in touch with Kyrie Irving at all. You listen to what his thoughts, you listen to how he talks about Kyrie. You would think Kyrie is a newly acquired Dallas Maverick, like just got acquired in the offseason. Like he seems so out of the loop the way he talks about Kyrie Irving. It's crazy. We praise Mark Cuban for being a rebel and speaking his mind, bro. But I be smelling BS when it comes to this dude, bro. Y'all already know how I give it up, bro. I can't bite my tongue. Mark Cuban just is weird to me, bro. Forevermore.
Players around them, they would say the same thing. And when you talk to our players after we got there, say the same thing. We love the guy, you know? And so it wasn't a question of his relationship with players. And then when you get into it more, you know,
Of course it wasn't. See, yo, whoever questioned Kyrie's relationship with players, that was never a topic of conversation. Never. Now he's a bad teammate. Man, bro, stop it.
matured, he's had different relationships with different organizations, which is why, you know, J Kidd and I made the effort to really.
Even though Mark Cuban is trying to praise Kyrie Irving with all this, you bringing it up is BS. It just add fuel to the fire. Top of the morning, my G, y'all already know the vibes, man. You need your boy Kyrie Irving got a new deal. Kyrie Irving, he's now locked in with this company, Anta. He's going to be getting his own shoe. He's also become the chief creative officer of their basketball program. They are giving Kyrie Irving the power and the ability to head their creative side as well as recruit other players to, possible shoe deals with this Chinese shoe company. And I'm so happy for Kyrie, bro, but I'm not sold that Kyrie is the right fit for this. I just don't think so, man. I'm just being honest. Kyrie Irving, as far as recruiting other players, I don't see people following his footsteps like that. I just don't see it. Now, Klay Thompson, he had his shoe deal with Anta, but what was Klay able to do? And he was part of the most, one of the most dominant teams of the new age when he got his shoe deal. So I think it's going to be hard, a definite uphill climb for Kyrie Irving to take this opportunity to the next level, because he doesn't give me the impression that he's that type of guy. His thought process and everything has been so outside the box. I don't think no other superstars is going to want to follow his lead, especially with a company that's not really proven. That's the thing. Like, if this was Nike, if they gave him a position of power at Reebok or Adidas or Under Armour, something like that, then I could probably see other star players potentially, following suit, maybe joining the Kyrie Irving team and trying to build something special. But I don't see that happening with this thing right here. And Klay is definitely not a superstar, though. So maybe the expectation should be a little bit different as far as what Klay could have brought to the table. But even still, I mean, I never even knew that Klay's shoe deal was under the Anta brand until this news of Kyrie. So it just goes to show the lack of marketing, the lack of promotion, the lack of creativeness that this company has at the end of the day. And they are relying on Kyrie Irving to be that guy that's going to take them over the hump and bring in other people. And I don't know. I just think Anta really need to be drug tested, bro. I got to talk to the bosses,
You
bro.
smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
Now, this is what Carlton. I want to hear what Carlton had to say. Craig Carlton from the Craig Carlton Show, because he was disrespectful, bro. I'm not even going to play this game. Hold on 1 second. See if I can pull this up. I want to hear what this guy had to say, because I'm reading it on Twitter right now. But let's hear the audio of it together. Give me a second. All right, here we go. Let me pull this up real fast, y'all. Bam.
He's a very bright guy. I agree with you that too. Misunderstood? That's the question mark there, because he puts himself in all these crazy situations that after enough of them take place, you can no longer say he's misunderstood. He blew up the Celtics. He blew up the Nets. He had terrible failures in Dallas. He blew up the Cavaliers.
Listen to this goofy. Listen to this clown. Listen to Craig Carton. This is why Kyrie is always going to have a problem. This is honestly, this is it right here. This is a prime example of why Kyrie Irving is always going to have an issue for the remainder of his career. It's a money grab. No doubt about that. That's why I said short term, when you ask me who's the biggest winner, either the Anta brand or Kyrie, I think on face value, Kyrie is the biggest winner right now short term because he got a position of power, some control. I don't know exactly how many dollars this deal was, but it was a 5-year deal. And as long as he keep his nose clean, I think that, he'll have some type of security or stability with having his own brand after he done got this deal taken from him from Nike. But long term, the expectations that this company has to have for Kyrie, I just don't see him being able to match that. But listen to what Craig Carton had to say about Kyrie, bro, and how he breaks down what Kyrie issues was. Just all lies. Listen to this clown.
You can no longer say he's misunderstood. He blew up the Celtics. He blew up the Celtics. How did he blow up the Celtics? True, the Celtics wound up playing better when he wasn't in than out. He was injured. So let's talk from a contextual situation. And those young guys, they did play better without Kyrie. That's cool. And I know he said if Boston would have him back, he would be more than happy to come back. And that didn't happen. But how did he destroy or blow up the Boston Celtics? Boston just went to the finals a couple years ago. Boston didn't miss a beat losing Kyrie Irving. Like that's a total lie because they trying to add on to this narrative that Kyrie Irving is a locker room killer or a team disaster. It didn't go well in Boston. That's true. And if you want to blame Kyrie for his lack of availability, that's cool. If you want to blame Kyrie for not returning, that's cool. But don't say that he destroyed Boston because Boston has been lit. Like, what is he talking about? Up the Nets. He had terrible fans. He blew up the Celtics. He blew up the Nets.
He blew up the Nets. I'm sorry. I know he had that situation with the anti-Semitic thing, but who was the first to quit and run out? James Harden. Now, you could blame, some are going to blame Kyrie Irving for the decision that James Harden made. But, bro, what about Joe Tsai, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, not standing with his players from the jump? Y'all remember the friction they had with Steve Nash and how Kevin Durant and Kyrie kind of wanted him gone? And Joe Tsai said he's going to be standing by his head coach. He never gave his superstars no support. Then Kyrie Irving goes through his controversy. They suspend Kyrie with no pay and then come up with all this foolishness that Kyrie Irving has to do in order to get back. Bro, that thing wasn't good from the start. And when KD had went down with that MCL injury earlier this season, Kyrie was balling. Ben Simmons was the one out there being your third best player, coming up with multiple 0-point games and all that type of stuff. So that's just thing like with me, man, the excuses people give is just crazy to me, for real. Let me hear what the rest of this guy got to say.
He had terrible failures in Dallas. He blew up the Cavaliers. No one has ever questioned his ability to play basketball. I've said in this show.
He blew up the Cavaliers. I was very disappointed that Kyrie left Cleveland.
I really was. I stopped liking Kyrie the way I liked Kyrie. But LeBron took them boys to the finals without Kyrie, having to face KD and Golden State, bro. He didn't destroy Cleveland. Like, yo, this guy is just talking out the side of his mouth, bro. And it's sad. This is why dudes don't get paid. And this is why guys keep struggling because of these types of situations in these lives.
A million times. He's one of my favorite players to watch play basketball. I think he's one of the 25 greatest players to ever play NBA basketball. He's a top 4 guard of all time in the history of the NBA, but he also happens to be a terrible knucklehead, a distraction, and a team killer. And that's the reality. That's not being misunderstood. And those two things I just said, which I believe are both factual, exist at the same time. He's a very bright guy. I agree with you that too. Misunderstood? That's the question mark there, because he puts himself in all.
It just kills me, bro. I can't even take no more. And these guys be having voices. I don't know where and why, but these guys really be having voices, bro. They talk so crazy. I'm not saying Kyrie Irving is a saint in the least, but hell no. Last name say Anta is about to use Kyrie like Ciroc did P. Diddy. Now that's crazy. But my thing about that is, bro, like Kyrie ain't no damn P. Diddy. When we talk about marketing and promoting, Puffy is a damn genius. Puffy getting out there, Puffy put his face out there. Puffy is a genius when it comes to, marketing and promoting and getting your face out there. Kyrie is reserved as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kyrie ain't the one that's going to want to be like out in the front of the camera all the time. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's not really involving basketball. That doesn't never really seem to be his pedigree. So, this thing is crazy. And I agree, Kyrie, damn sure, he is not no robot. He definitely marches to the beat of his own drum. And, that's why I'm happy he was able, to actually get this type of deal, this type of situation. But I honestly just don't think that he's the right fit to be able to get the job done. And when you wind up failing the job, overall, they're going to pour more shade on you. And then what? If he's not able to capitalize off of this and they cut ties with him or they don't make any money and they're forced to cut ties with Kyrie, where does he go from here? It's going to have to make people wonder, should he have waited? I don't think he should have waited. I think the deal is dope. But some may question, should he have waited for a more popular brand to try to spin the block and come back around and offer him a deal? But who knows if that was ever going to happen? Like I said, to me, Nike shouldn't have cut ties with him in the first place. Then they put Ja Morant in the driver's seat, and it's been downhill with Ja Nike. I know they didn't cut ties with him, but, it's just been problem after problem when it comes to Ja. Kyrie ain't get them boys no problems like that. So we'll see how this play out, man. But I just got to question the big picture behind this deal, behind Kyrie being in charge of the creative department, behind the expectation that Kyrie Irving is going to be able to get other superstars that's going to help to be able to build this company. I'm not sold on it, but, I don't want to doubt him. We'll just have to see how it play out. But you guys are now rocking with the best. This is the Best of 7 Sports Talk. 7 Mitchell in the building. Make sure if you guys enjoy daily NBA content, follow me everywhere on social media, 365, 24/7. Y'all already know how we rocking. Today's live stream goal, we've been doing very well this week. Today's live stream goal is $27. So if you guys enjoyed today's live stream, if you guys would like to donate or contribute to the network. We do have our donation links, I believe, available in the description. You can also send your donation through Cash App or Super Chat, whatever. But we do want to thank you guys for all of the donations this week. Shout out to Samantha, who sent us her donation earlier this morning. Big up to you, Samantha. Big up to K Rich, who dropped a donation yesterday, as well as Brandon Fuller dropped his donation yesterday. So we appreciate you guys so much for supporting our live streams, and y'all already know how we give it up here in the NBA community. But let me know what your thoughts and opinions, guys, is on Kyrie Irving. It's official, 5-year deal with Anta. He's now the new chief creative officer of the Anta basketball program, and he actually is in charge of recruiting superstar players and doing collaborations. In addition to that, like I broke down, Kyrie Irving, for what it's worth, he's had an unbelievable off season. You can say what you want about Kyrie. You can call him names. You can say he's stupid, but he has been getting busy since this off season started. He signed a 3-year deal worth $126 million with the Dallas Mavericks. So he's back in Dallas. He just signed a 5-year shoe endorsement deal with Anta. He's negotiated everything under his own management. You know, he kept this thing in-house, and he was able to broker some major deals. And he also secured a position at this company that's going to allow him to really take control of the creative side of things. I'm not sold that he's going to do a great job, but he got it done. So shout out to Kyrie Irving, who has been busy this offseason, but for all the right reasons, even though the haters are going to hate. My brother said Nike shouldn't have let Kyrie go, but his legacy is set with Nike. His shoes were some of the best ever. Hopefully great things come from Anta. And I will hope so. But, you know, the reality of it, bro, and you know, just like I do, Nike sells itself. If the shoe is decent, you know, it doesn't matter who name they put on there. It's going to get sold. Like Nike is just one of them brands that's going to sell themselves. You don't have to do much promoting or marketing on the individual side. You know what I mean? Starting your own special campaigns and stuff like that. Like it's going to help. But Nike already got their thing solidified. This type of situation with this Chinese company, you know, they may have expectations for Kyrie to build things from the ground up, revamp everything. And I don't know if Kyrie's ever been looked at as that type of creative mind. Very dominant on the basketball court. He's not a mistake maker. I'm not trying to play him like he's dumb, but like, do y'all think Kyrie is innovative? He didn't like create the crossover. He didn't do anything special with the crossover. Like he's just that great of a player, but I just don't see any creativeness in his game, in his thought process. Like I said, he's well reserved. I know there's a lot of other players that love Kyrie, support Kyrie, but I just don't know if you're going to get guys like Paul George and, you know, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, some of these upcoming stars, if they going to follow suit and sign along with this Chinese brand under Kyrie Irving, unless they are getting a deal better than what Kyrie has. I'm just not sold, but that's just my thoughts and opinions, man. I'm Seven Mitchell. This is the Best of Seven Sports Talk. About to get up out of here, take a quick, brief break, but I will be back live with you guys at 12 noon. So if you're new to this platform, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can check me back out here live on YouTube at 12 p.m. Eastern. Catch you guys in about, 2 hours, hour and a half, something like that. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Y'all stay safe. And I am out of here for now. Peace, y'all.